Hello internet, welcome back or welcome to my channel. My name is Tori, and today I have the final for the Throwing Shade project. I do want to say before I do my normal spiel, if you think I should work on the lighting and not film at night, I won't be offended. I'm just trying to see what works and what doesn't work. So if you don't prefer this lighting situation, leave a little moon emoji down below. I don't care if it's a crescent, I don't care if it's the one with the face on it. Any moon will be acceptable. So today I have my Throwing Shade finale, and I don't think I've watched anyone's finale, so if they end up doing it a little bit different, that's fine. This is just the way I'm going to do it. But yeah, this is a Fantastic Ladies collab. The master list will be linked down below, and I do it a little bit differently. I am filming this earlier, so I do not have the eyeshadows on from this last look. I do have a completely different palette on my face. But yeah, we're gonna start with the last guys I used, the last palettes that were pulled. And I do this differently. I try to use every shade in the palette. So let's jump into it. The first week was pulled my Baby Z palette, and now I currently have 2. So there were 8 shades for me to use. So that included 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then there was one here that has now been moved. And I used 6 of the 8. I did not use that mint green shade or that multicolored gray shade at the top. Since then, these have been added to the palettes. But yeah, the minis are the little tiny pans are the Lorac brunch palette, and these ones are in here just because they're not really my fave. I mean, they're okay, and I will pan them eventually, but they're just not top of the list. I don't really care for orange or mint or really sparkly gray, so. And then this is a Sugar Pill shadow, a Makeup Forever shadow, and an LA Color single. This is a rainbow highlighter from I have no idea where. But I do love the Sugar Pill shade. This is a nice crease shade for me from LA Colors. This is the shade Whisper. And then I do love this red shade, even though Makeup Forever is non-cruelty free. So, yeah, overall, it was good. I do keep these in separate Z's, so when there's room in my bigger Z, I could pull one of these in. But the time hasn't. Well, the time came for that little guy, but not the rest of these yet. Then the next thing that was picked was the Anastasia Beverly Hills Aurora Glow Kit. And I used all, oh, I forgot there's no mirror. I used all 6 shades. Yeah, I forgot how much I really love Eclipse. The hardest one for me to use was Orion. Hylia, I love using on my eyes. I cannot really use it as a highlight. Orion, I ended up using on my eyes with, I think I did gray in the outer corner. I do love Luna, I love Spectra. Lyra is pretty, but it looks good, but I don't like to overdo it when I wear it because I feel like it's not meant for my skin tone. And then, like I said, Eclipse, I love it. It's gorgeous. Yeah, I do not regret getting this. I thought that this one would not suit my skin tone at all since I am ghostly white. But it actually, I like it better than I think I would like Moonchild. I thought I should have gotten Moonchild because of how fair I am, but I have no interest in Moonchild now because I have this one. So that's good. The last thing was the Wet n Wild William Marina Me Trio. The last time I did a trio, I tried to use it 6 times, so I used each shade twice, but I did not want to do that this week, and I only used this 3 times, each shadow once. The bronzish gold and the brown, I used the first day and got them out of the way. I paired them together. The blue, it's not that pigmented, so I tried to do a kind of like, I think it's called a sunset / ocean look, where I did blue on the lid and then I blended yellow and orangish in my crease, and it was wearable enough to wear to school where it looked good. But yeah, I don't like this blue a lot. It does transfer on my lids, like I couldn't get a nice cut crease with it. And after a while, it just gets, really muted, and it's too like gray toned, like gray based. I know pigment's not normally based with gray, it's normally based with white or black, but yeah, it's not a standalone color. It would need something under it to stay its true color. Overall, I don't really regret it. I do like the brown and the gold. This is definitely something, I mean, I have panned it before because that's why there's pan in this one, but I would definitely throw it in a pan to continue to get use out of it and get it out of my collection. Since this is the finale and I am borderline insane, I am going through since the beginning to give you a little recap on everything, and I do have notes on some of them, and I'm going to talk about if my notes changed or what. The first thing that was ever picked was the Too Faced Natural Matte palette. I said at the time that this was a great travel palette, and when I was doing the original 3 episodes, I had a different system. I was just try to use it as many times during the week as I can. So I used this 5 times. It doesn't say how many shades I use. It's just that I've raged 4 or 5 times, which I mean, I guess, but that doesn't help me now. I didn't need this the time I bought it. This is always like a hidden gem in my collection because it's really nice mattes, but like, I didn't really need it. But it is a nice travel palette if I want mattes. But yeah, this is definitely something that's going to have to be panned because I don't want to get rid of it because it's nice, but I'm not using it. The next thing I have kind of in front of me, but it's all scattered about, and it's the Makeup Geek and Manny MUA palette. I do have photos and swatches I am putting up on the screen, and I did put it together from the various palettes it's now spread out, and I used it 4 times on the old scale. Didn't need that palette. At that time I said I was going to depot it. Since then I have depotted it, and didn't need it. At the time I said I don't regret it, and I kind of still don't regret it. I mean, I still don't favor Manny. I still don't favor Makeup Geek, because they both got their own issues, and I'm not a part of that. I do like the palette only because I don't have those rose gold colors anywhere else, and when my friend wanted me to do rose gold makeup, I had to use those because I had no alternatives. So it's definitely something I'm panning and something I've been like unofficially panning and working on. One of the shades is in my use up 50 products by this year. The next one is the Tarte Pro. Don't know, this is my pan that palette. I said that I should depot this. I don't think I'm going to because it's way too bulky and annoying. Obviously now I have a lot of pan. At the time I used it 6 times. Like I said, don't know what this means. I said that I liked it, that I repressed colors, which means this one and this one during that time, but I think I made it worse by repressing colors. And yeah, I just really don't like this palette. It has really bad hard pan, and that's why it's one of my pan that palettes for this year. So the second episode, the first palette that was picked was the Lorac Free Spirit palette, and I said at the time that this would definitely be easy to pan. Obviously I do have pan in this one now because the shade itself is in a project, and I definitely would pan it. I used it 5 times in that episode. I think it's a nice color scheme. It's a weird color scheme for the time. The next week in that episode was the Urban Decay After Dark palette. Wow, so reflective. Since then, I have put 3 shades in projects, but it's only to hit pan. The only comment I had is that the shimmers were not good to use in the crease, and I used it 3 times. This palette I tend not to reach for a lot. That's why I put 3 shadows in projects. Because it's all shimmer palette, and yes, it's good to have them, but it's not down for it. And then the next one, that was the last one in that episode, was Kat Von D Shade and Light Quad and Smoke. I used it 2 times apparently. I said it would be easy to pan besides the gray shade. Since then, I have put this in a project, and I'm apparently really close to hitting pan in this way because when I was taking swatches for this before this, it felt like I was going to hit pan. So, I mean, I want to get this out as soon as possible because out of the stuff I own from this person, this is the blandest thing and the thing I don't want. On to the third episode. The first week was the Too Faced Chocolate Bonbons palette. I used it 2 times, and the only thing that really bothered me is that this shade and this shade and this shade all get really bad hard pan. tend not to reach for them. But this is one of my oldest palettes, so I have been trying to slowly start to pan this, because I don't think I can make it a pan that palette and pan it completely in like a year's time. I think this needs a lot longer. Obviously, I've used up one shade in a palette, and I've had these 2 shades in a project, and this one is currently in a project, so that's me starting to try to pan it. This one, Pastel Goth by Kat Von D. I only used it one time, and during that episode, during that update, and yeah, this, I don't think I would ever pan this. I do just need to start reaching for it more. I think if I could pan anything relatively easy, it would obviously be Skull, but I do really like the shades, hence why this hasn't been decluttered, but I would like to get some nice dips before I finally decide to get rid of it. And then the last thing for that update was the Tarte's Tease. So this is another pan that palette for this year. This is what it currently looks like. I didn't really need this. I got it as a gift. Kind of wish I just regifted it or sold it online. It is a nice little palette, but it's just not me. I don't like the format. I don't really like Tarte. Now we go on to the next episode, and I actually started saying how many shades I was using. So the first one was the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette. I used 8 out of 12 shadows. This is what it looks like. I have one currently in a project. This palette gets really neglected, even though it's the perfect color scheme for me. I just wish I could pull it out more, and I wish there were more than 3 mattes. I feel like one of these should have been a matte, not really a weird satin shimmer. This is a crumbly mess that always ends up breaking. And yeah, I would like to pan this, but I know how hard it is to pan naked shadows from just getting panned in that one. So this could never be a pan that palette. This would have to be in individual projects. The next thing is the Urban Decay and Kristen Leanne Kaleidoscope palette. There is yes, it is signed. There's 11 shades in this. I used all 11. Lime Time right here is in a project. That's what's on my lids right now. And 13th Hour is on the outer corner. I feel like the only shades I could realistically pan right now, besides Lime Time, because I had different circumstances, is Corona. And Brixton, it's not as pretty as it used to be. It used to have a pink, like, shimmer reflect. It was half teal for Leo and then pink for Brixton. And I think it was just an overspray that I wore off, which makes me really sad because the white shade by itself, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to flip you off, but it's like, you can even tell in the swatch photos, it's just a shimmery white highlight. So I feel like I'm probably going to pan that soon. And if I continue to use Spitfire, I will have a nice pan because I already have a nice dip in it. And one thing that always low-key like annoys me, but it's kind of a good thing, but annoys me, is like LCW, Dye, and TRM all are like kind of baked. Like there's too much product for the pan, but it doesn't fall out. And I mean, yes, it's a good thing because you're getting more product than you're probably supposed to, but like it's like a texture thing. I mean, obviously the layout's a mess and that's a whole different story, but like the fact that there's product overload, I don't know, I don't like it. It doesn't sit right with me. And then the last thing was my Big Z palette. Now, I don't think this was the layout I had at the time. Apparently I only had 31 shades in here. I have like 40 something in here now, and I used 13 of the shades. I have no real comment. This is just I'll show you what I have in it now. I mean, if you care. But these are all shades that I'm currently panning. I have some Tarte shades from a 2015 Romantic Eyes palette. The Modern Renaissance, Lorac Brunch, Modern Renaissance, Makeup Geek, Urban, L'Oreal, Coastal Scents, and Morphe. So it's just all stuff that constantly gets switched out that I'm panning, and that's that. The next update, in the first week, I had the Urban Decay and Basquiat Gallery Face Palette, and I used 3 out of the 4 shades. I most likely just didn't use the bronzer because it's a warm tone bronzer. I can get away with it in the summer, but not now. The next thing was the Lorac Mega Pro 4. Now, I did not put swatches up of this because I'm not going to swatch all 32 shades, and I used 12, so I probably just used the ones that were in my project, along with like Kanye and Flamingo and a Mahogany, because those are like my favorite in this palette. And then the last thing was the Lime Crime Venus. When I pulled it in, it was new. I used all 8 of 8 shades, and now Venus is in a project. I do really like this. I have not gotten a lot of use out of it since, which sucks, but it is the perfect color scheme. I love it. Next update, the first one was the Gold Great palette from the Urban Decay and Basquiat. I do have pan in this one. This was from the Roulette Pan collab. I used all 8 shades. I really do love this palette. I don't give it a lot of use. If there's any shades I don't like, it's probably just Sucker Punch and BK. I love Pseudonym. I love that navy. Actually, I think the only shade I really don't like is Crown. I don't know why. I'm not a fan of that yellow. The next thing was the Wet n Wild Color Icon Trio in Heart and Heavy. This is what I mean by last time I wanted to use each shade twice, so 6 times, so I used it 6 out of 6 times. This Brow Bone shade was put in a project and I hit pan, and I would like to, same thing with the other trio, continue to pan these. The last one for that update was the Urban Decay Naked palette. Now, I used all 12 shades. I finally bought it. Well, I didn't buy it. Someone gifted it to me when it was going on a sale. 50% off, because I was going to buy myself it anyway this year before I knew the fact that they were taking it off. One of the shades is in a project, and I really do like some of the formula for these. I like toasted sometimes because in some lights it looks gray and I'm not a fan of that, but when it looks pink and it's true to color, I love it. But kind of happy in it. I wasn't gifted it at full price because I feel like it's not worth the money full price anymore. The next one was the Subculture palette, and I used 11 out of the 14 shades. I probably just didn't use Untamed, Axis. No, I think I did use Axis. I probably just didn't use New Wave, Untamed, Edge, and probably like, what are you, Destiny. But everything else I probably used. Electric is in a project, has a nice dip. I do really like this palette, but I do know I need to focus on it, especially because I got it from Marshall's. And this is like the only other palette that has the 6 months expiration, and like that gives me anxiety, so gotta do that. The next thing was the Meet Matrimony palette. I only used 4 out of the 9 shades. I really do like this palette. I liked it a lot and used it a lot when I danced. Now that I don't dance, I don't reach for it a lot, which sucks. The middle shade, Matte Kumar, is in a project, so I am trying to actively try to get more use out of this. I need to try to actually start panning another shade so I actually reach for this more. And then the next palette and the last one for this update was, last one for the update I'm talking about. I feel like this is getting confusing, but this is what you expect. This is a Coastal Scents palette. So these 2 shades are Coastal Scents. These 2 shades are Coastal Scents. These are all Kathleen Lights and Morphe, and this is all the Manny and Makeup Geek. This is where they live until I put them in my Big Z palette to use up. When I did reach for this, I pretty much only used the Manny shades, and I think that was the time I did my friend's eyeshadow when I used the rose gold colors. Yeah, stuff in here doesn't get used till it's put in the Z palette. The first week for the next update was the Jeffree Star Thirsty palette, and I used 9 out of the 15. I just don't think I used the colorful shades and probably 1 or 2 of the shimmers. I really like this palette. I did actually use it today before I put on the green over top. I used Snatched. I really do like the metallic formula, and I obviously don't have, well, I mean, I don't have peaches in my collection, so I really think this was a good buy for me, a smart purchase, and I do really like it. The next thing was the Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye Thing in Plum. I really wanted this, saw it at Marshall's. Since it was at Marshall's, and none of the profits went to Kat Von D. If you don't know, they buy them on wholesale, so none of the money went to her. I used all 4 of the shades. Didn't really need this. The last palette for that update was the Naked Heat. I used all 11 out of 11 because I panned the 1. No shadows are currently in a project. I bought this off of Hype. I do really like the shimmers, but I don't use it a lot, so it's probably going back in another project. And then the last update I have to talk about before I have to talk about something else before I can end the video. Lime Crimes Plushie Squad. I used all 4. I love them. It made me actually be creative with the yellow. I actually didn't realize how wearable mango was, or the yellow. Orange juice was okay. Don't really care for orange. And dragon fruit is a goddess. Love it. Then the next thing was the Urban Decay and Kristen Leanne Beauty Beam. I really like this color. This color is a little too dark. That color is just perfect. I used all three. And then the last one for that update was the androgyny palette. I used all 10 shades. These shades that were the hardest for me to use were Military and Charm. I would like to one day pan this. I can use Safe Word as a contour. I just forget to a lot of the times. And the mirror is really badly shattered, so I would like to ideally pan this just because I don't like having that mirror broken in my collection. I decided to stop this when I reached the point that everything that was originally stated in the intro, all the ones that were on the original list, were complete. However, that list could not be completed because I needed, obviously, a number that was, it could be divisible by 3. So I had to wait till I had 30 to then finally say, okay, this is it. Like, if I get any other palettes, that's that. So my phone just died on me, but we're gonna continue this. If this annoys you because this is obviously low quality footage, I'm sorry, but a girl's gonna continue because I got stuff to do. So like I was saying, there was obviously palettes that I've gotten since then, and I realized while pulling everything out for this video and doing the swatches, I made some oopsies and forgot some stuff. So the one thing I forgot was the Kat Von D Shine and Light palette. I mean, I've been unofficially panning this. I officially threw this now into a project. This does have a dip, even though you cannot tell on camera. But I'm trying to pan all 4. Obviously, I finished that one already. And then get rid of it because I cannot use this. So I did not throw that in there. I don't know if I did it on purpose or if it was accidental. But I did not throw in that. This I also didn't throw in. I thought I did, but apparently it wasn't on there. This is the Smashbox Full Exposure palette. This is my other pan that palette for this year. I did actually repress it today. And this is what it currently looks like. If you care, I use it pretty much. I try to reach for it once a week, but I do get enough use out of it where 2 of the shades have pan and 4 of the shades have been used up. This, I purposely, I think I didn't put in there just because I didn't think anyone would really care. This is the QKI interchangeable palette. I put all of these quads in here. There is 2 things of pan because I put them in Franken shades. But yeah, this is what this palette looks like. 1 shade is in a project, but the whole thing itself is in my non-cruelty free project. So I try to pick up for it when I can, but my non-cruelty free project, if you don't know, is not my main focus. The next thing, I think I just didn't put in because it is a, don't know where it came from, because it came from Wish, and obviously I'm not going to promote that, but I do have 2 of the shades in projects. I have this bronze one and this light purple, and yeah, I reached for those. It actually does have good pigmentation, but obviously I want it out because it's from Wish. So, now we'll get into everything I've gotten, received from family and friends since then. I've gotten a Makeup Forever Lustrous Shadow Palette. So this is what it looks like. It's absolutely gorgeous. A little washed out because obviously the MacBook is 5 years old. I'm not going to pick it up clearly. But yeah, I do really like this. This isn't my non-cruelty free project, but I'm having fun with this. I'm not trying to like hardcore pan it. I'm trying to actually enjoy it. And the other thing that's in the same project is the Laura Geller Life Flows On Illuminating Palette. So this is just a 3 little highlighters. I do really like this one. This is a white to pink, and then this is like a purple to pink. I don't really care for the gold, but I'll use it. And now on to the things I bought. The Urban Decay Beach Palette. I'm pretty much kind of doing a throw-in shade with these. I'll throw them in my bi-weekly makeup Shop My Stash, and then try to use as many shades as possible. And I really love this. I love Heatwave. Daybreak is like the only matte. Salt is a semi-matte, and like 16th Street, gorgeous. And then the next palette is the Lime Crime. This is Sugar Plum palette. I got this from Marshall's. It is all shimmer, so it's going to be harder for me to use, but it is unique to my collection. I really like it. The next thing is the Lime Crime Venus 3. This color scheme is perfect. This and like the Venus could probably be like my perfect 2 palettes I could wear like forever color scheme wise. I've only swatched this. I have not pulled this in yet, but I really do like it. And then the last palette is the ColourPop and Kathleen Lights, the Zodiac. Not gonna lie, I'm salty that Capricorn is a black with shimmer throughout because that is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. Sorry if that's your favorite color. It's the ugliest thing I've ever seen. But yeah, I really like this. I'm really drawn to Sagittarius and Scorpio, and the rest of the colors are really pretty. Aquarius is unique for my collection because it's like a true cauliflower blue. But yeah, I really like it. So obviously I could have continued throwing shade with all these, but I felt like on me it was just gonna get annoying because I was gonna have to keep pulling in new things, and then if it ends in a number that's not divisible by 3, I'm going to have to go out and buy 2 more and palettes till it's done, and it would just keep going forever and annoy me and be a dread. And I don't think that we want to watch videos of me in a bad mood, because already when I get a little bit too sassy, it's not fun. It's not entertaining anymore. So yeah, that has been this project. I think it was a good project to do. I think that it helped me starting panning and actually know what I can focus on, what I can use up, what I should be using up. And yeah, I really like this. So if you enjoy me, enjoy Project Pans, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Peace out, Girl Scout.